first and foremost, how many passages will you see on the reading section? You will see 3 reading passages without any breaks. Okay, you have a variety of questions using a number of different tasks. We'll talk about those variety of questions a little later in today's presentation. Timing for this section would be 60 minutes. Okay, you have 60 minutes to solve 3 reading passages. Total number of questions would be 40. Okay, so 3 passages with 40 questions. So it's not like it's going to be 10 plus 10 plus, something like that. You can't break it up evenly. Okay, so the number of questions may vary per passage, but yes, there will be 3 reading passages with a total number of 40 questions. Where do you get these passages from and what types of passages are they? So the text can be taken from various resources. Okay, they could be books, magazines, newspapers, anywhere. Anything that is general, which you people would find interesting and you can identify with. The passages could be written in various styles. It could be like a narrative, it could be a description of something, it could be an argumentative passage, it could be an analyzing passage. The text may contain a lot of diagrams or graphs or illustrations as well. Even in the reading section, you may find these kind of diagrams. If the text contains any technical terms, then a simple glossary is provided. So they give you the meaning of those technical terms somewhere below. Okay. All the questions, as usual, just like in the listening section, carry 1 mark. Okay, so all your questions, correct answers would be 1 mark. So to reach that score of 40, yesterday we saw the bands, right? So where we said to get a comfortable score of 7 plus, band of 7 plus, which is the usual requirement, 7 to 7.5, you should be aiming for at least, I would say, a 33 plus kind of score on the reading section as well. So some FAQs, I'm sure you guys would be having some questions. So how many questions are there on the reading test? I think I just answered this for you. How many questions are there? There would be 40 questions. Okay. How long does a reading test last? Again, I answered this for you. 60 minutes. No extra time to transfer your answers. This is important. This time you get no extra time to transfer your answers. Whether you're taking a paper-based test or a computer-based test, you need to enter your answers immediately. You'll not get extra time like in the listening section, you get extra 10 minutes on the paper-based test. On the computer-based test, you get extra 2 minutes. Here, you're not going to get any extra time. So whatever you need to transfer, it has to be done immediately. Okay, so now there are many ways of doing this. What I would suggest is do it part by part. As soon as you finish the first passage, transfer your answers. As soon as you finish the second passage, transfer your answers. And as soon as you finish the third part, transfer your answers. Don't wait for the last minute. Because I've seen this personally, I've seen students actually crying after the test because they were unable to simply key in the answers on the answer sheet. Again, like last time, you will have a separate question paper and a separate answer sheet. The question paper is different. You can do all your working on the question paper, but on the answer sheet, you have to transfer the answers separately. Okay, so you have to transfer the answers immediately if you want, or partly, like I said, maybe after the first passage, then again after the second, then again after the third. How many readings are there? So as I mentioned, there are 3 passages. What kind of topics can you get? So honestly, it can be various topics, okay, related to maybe science and history commonly. For example, maybe a passage on chemistry, or maybe on neuroscience, maybe on artificial intelligence. Biographies are also very common, right? How many different types of questions are there? There are many different types of questions. We'll be looking at the question types a little later. How long should each reading take? Now, honestly, there is no time limit in the sense there will not be a timer which will tell you, okay, passage 1 stop, passage 2 stop, passage 3 stop. No, they just give you 60 minutes and you need to manage your time in between. So I would suggest, since the passages move in a level of difficulty, in the sense the first passage would be slightly simpler than 2 and then slightly simpler than 3, I would suggest that instead of splitting this up into 20, 20, 20, maybe you can split this up in something like maybe 17 initially, okay, 17 minutes. Maybe the next passage could take around 20 minutes and the last passage could take around 23 minutes. Okay, so you can split up your time according to this. Again, you need to keep your eyes on the timer yourself. Nobody's going to tell you 17 minutes up, 20 minutes up, 23 minutes up. This is a task which you need to do on your own. Split up those 60 minutes, divide those 3 passages accordingly and work. So again, my breakup would be 17 minutes, 20 minutes and finally 23 minutes. When should I write on the answer sheet? So as I mentioned, when should you write on the answer sheet? Either towards the end, so that is not a good idea. Better to do it part by part. Okay, you do not have any extra time to transfer your answers. So don't write them on the test. write them immediately on the answer sheet. If you feel that writing it on the question paper is going to waste your time, straight away transfer it to the answer sheet. Directly write in the answer sheet. Students always ask this question, can I write in all capitals? This goes for the listening section as well. Yes, you can write in all capitals if you want. Is capitalization important? I would say no. As long as your handwriting is neat, it is not important. But there is no harm in keeping everything in capital letters as well. So the choice is yours. Avoid mixing, answers like half capital and half small alphabets. That's quite, it doesn't appeal to the reader. So you will still receive marks if you write London like this or London like this. It doesn't matter. But obviously, if it's a proper noun, make sure you're capitalizing the first alphabet at least. Is spelling important? Yes, spelling is very important. Just like the listening section. In the listening section also you get 0 for the wrong spelling. Same way in the reading section you get 0. But the chances here of making mistakes should be minimum, unlike the listening section. Because in the listening section you're just listening and writing. You may not know the spelling. Here you're picking up all the words from the passage itself more or less. So you should not be making any spelling errors. So definitely you will be penalized if you're making any spelling mistakes. Do your answers have to be grammatically correct? Well, yes, grammar is important in all the sections. It's very important, it's checked. Okay, so you need to make sure that there aren't any grammatical errors. What counts as a word for the no more than words question? So we discussed this type of question yesterday in the listening section, but I'll just give you some more examples here. So dates, times and numbers all count as one word. So for example, 200 is one word. 30 lakhs is also one word. 11 a.m. is one word if you put it together. 22% is one word, and so on. Words with hyphens like mother-in-law are also one word. For dates, 18 September, and you separate it, then you're calling it one word and one number. Okay, so like I said, 18th is considered as one number. September is considered as one word. So be very careful. Here too, you need to follow the instructions. How many words are you supposed to use? It's very important to check the instructions and then write the words accordingly. Okay, most of the question types have these instructions. So be very careful, read the instructions well before you start randomly writing answers. So do wrong answers hurt my score more than the blank ones? Some students ask me this question as well. So obviously if you're writing wrong answers, you're going to get 0 over there. But even if you leave blank ones, you're going to get 0. Okay, so make sure you're filling in all the answers, even if you're guessing. Don't leave anything blank. There's no negative marking if that is what is on your mind. Do the readings get harder as the test goes on? I told you already, passage 1 would be slightly easier than passage 2 and passage 2 would be slightly easier than passage 3. Should you read the questions or the reading first? So, this question most of the students ask me, should I read the passage first and then see the questions? Should I see the questions first and then the passages? I would suggest try both the methods. Okay, whatever works for you the best should be adopted. Frankly, I like to read the passage first, gain a good grip on the passage and then answer the questions. That is my strategy. But as you wish, like I said, okay, you should skim the reading before reading the questions and finding the answers. This is what I believe in. When I say skim, I mean you're reading through the passage once, but not paying attention to the details. You're just skimming for the important parts and the important points. And then you can read the questions and look for the answers. Do the answers come in order? So like in listening, we saw that all the questions and the answers are in order. That is, only after question 1 will you do question 2. Only after question 2 will you do question 3 and so on. Here it is not the case. They may be in order for a certain set of question types, but they may not be in order for a certain set of question types. So sometimes, for some questions they will, like for example, true, false and not given, they will be in order. But for others, like matching the heading and all that, they will not be in order. Okay, so you need to look at the question types and then decide from where to pick up the correct answers. Okay, can you write T instead of true? Okay, so one thing is there will be questions based on true, false and not given. Okay, yes, no and not true. So when you find questions like this, you can write T instead of true. Okay, you can use abbreviations. There is no harm in using abbreviations. They are generally accepted throughout. You can write P for true, F for false, NG for not given, and even things like Y for yes and N for no. But our advice is to just write the full words to be safe. Why do we honestly want to take a risk, right? Because it will hardly take you, it's a fraction of a second to write the word true or false. Okay, I keep studying and I can't improve. What should I do? So this is another common question the students ask me. Quite honestly, there's nothing that you can do except for practice. You need to make sure that you keep practicing questions, the different question types, use your practice tests, use subtopic tests, and keep practicing. You will realize that everything is based on vocabulary, just like your listening section is based on vocabulary, the kind of words that are being used and how well you understand the words given in the passage. Now, when I say vocab, it doesn't mean that all the words will be difficult, but in general, you should understand the meanings of words. That is something which will really help you. So if you want, you can do daily general readings, because most of the passages will also be based on general readings. So the key to these tests is vocab. There is no shortcut. You have to study your vocab. You need to know the basic meanings of basic words. When I say vocab again, I don't mean very high level vocabulary. This of course takes years, but even if you're like 1 month away from your test, it's still very important for you to focus on your vocabulary. Should you take the computer-based reading test? Again, this is a very subjective question. If you're more comfortable with the pen and paper style, go ahead. But if you feel that marking answers directly on the computer will help you, then why not? There are advantages that are big enough. So let us look at some of those advantages. You should practice online, okay, with a test to really figure out whether this is for you. Because you can actually highlight answers on the computer screen. You can copy and paste things. You can view the questions on one side and the reading on the other. Whereas in the paper pen test, you have to flip pages. Okay, you can of course highlight answers, but you can't copy paste anything. So here, when I say copy paste, I mean suppose a question asks you for some detail. Okay, suppose you have to key in the word volcano. Okay, so what you can do is you can just copy the word volcano from the text and paste it over here in the given space. But in the paper pen test, obviously you have to write it down. So there's a higher chance of making a spelling mistake or making some mistake in copying it. But there you can simply copy and paste it. Okay, so there are some advantages, but again it depends upon you if you're a paper pen type of person, and the other sections like listening and all if you're more comfortable. So it's always advisable to practice one online test and then decide what you want to do. Do not ask your mentors, what should I do? Should I take a paper pen test or an online test? Be your own mentor, be your own guide, and decide what you want to do. Is there a difference between the general training and academic training reading part? Yes, there will be a difference. The topics on the general training are related to everyday life and newspapers. The topics in the academic test can be slightly more academic, slightly more related to study. Okay, whereas general training passages are different, sizes of the passages are different. You have more than 3 passages, etc. So those of you interested in doing general training reading, those of you will be taking the general test. Again, you can email us at info@collegepond.com for upcoming webinars or more information on the same. I will mostly be targeting only the academic reading in today's session. Can you write on the test? Yes, you can write on the test. Write on the test meaning on the test paper. Should I write in pen or pencil? You need to write on the answer sheet only in pencil. What you do on the question paper doesn't matter. But the answers need to be transferred, or the answers need to be written on the answer sheet only in pencil. This is again something that we discussed yesterday. For the listening and the reading section, both should be done only in pencil on the answer sheet. Some general tips before we move on to the types of questions. Don't expect to understand every word. You will not. Okay, there will be some parts which you don't know, so please ignore them. Avoid spending time there. Practice your reading skills, not your IELTS skills. Okay, so you need to practice your reading skills a lot. That is, improvise on your reading instead of focusing on IELTS and worrying about the IELTS. Don't do that. Practice more on basic reading. Read the instructions very carefully, because like I mentioned earlier, instructions will give away a lot of information about what you're supposed to do. What are you supposed to key in? How many words you're supposed to key in? Are you supposed to key in an alphabet or a Roman numeral or a word or a number? Don't panic. Whenever you get stuck, don't panic. Okay, you can just keep calm and move on. The reading section is scoring. You can score above 33 easily. Students usually get a band of 8 in reading. It's not difficult to get a band of 8 over here. It's actually just a vocabulary test. Again, when I say vocab, doesn't mean that they're going to ask you word meanings, but they're just going to check whether you understood the passage based on the words given over there or not. Basic reading, basic words, you should know. You should have the knowledge of the meanings of basic words. Timing is crucial, so make sure that whenever you practice in a timed situation, in a timed simulation, so that you have a habit and you have you know exactly how much time you're taking in a particular passage for a particular question. Ignore anything you already know about the topic, so it's not a very good idea to go with any preconceived notions. Only use information that is given in the passage. Do not use anything that you already know. Okay, do not go with any kind of bias. Use only the information from the passage, nothing else. All the answers are in the passage. Practice slow and fast. So initially practice slow so that you gain your accuracy levels. Once your accuracy comes up, then you can start practicing fast as well. So initially start out slow, practice maybe 40 questions in about 80 minutes. Slowly start cutting down that time and coming to 40 questions in 60 minutes. It is a slow and gradual process with reading. You cannot attain accuracy in the very first test that you write. Understand and know the question types. It's very important for us to know the question types and what we're supposed to do in each question type. So let us now move on to the types of questions. So first and foremost, you have multiple choice questions. How do you know what you're supposed to do? Read the instructions. Choose the appropriate letters A, B, C or D. Okay? Write your answers in boxes 10 to 12 on your answer sheet. So where do you have to write the answers? Don't simply tick it here. Nobody cares about what you do in the question paper. Transfer everything to the answer sheet. Right? So what are you supposed to do here? Basically, you're supposed to choose an appropriate letter. Okay? That is A, B, C, D. One of them. One of them, it says or. That means one of them would be the correct answer. Okay, so let's quickly look at what we should be doing here. So first of all, the format. It could be choose 1 out of 4. Like in this case, there are only 4 options. It could choose 1 out of 4. If it wants to be difficult, it can be 2 out of 5. There could be 5 options and you have to choose 2 of them. The order is not important. Or it could be 3 out of 7. So if it has to get tougher, maybe in like the last question set, you may see where you have to choose 3 options out of 7. Okay, so it can be very difficult to actually look for 3 multiple answers in that short span of time. Reading all the 7 options, it's a pretty time-consuming process. So this is how the format is. Maybe 1 out of 4, maybe 2 out of 5, maybe 3 out of 7. The questions are in the same order as the information in the text. So that means this is just like the listening section. It will be in the same order, which means only after you answer question 10 will you find the answers for question 11. Only after you find the answers for question 11 will you find the answers of question 12. So the questions are in the same order as the information given in the text. If para 1 spoke about 10, then para 2 will probably speak about 11. Okay, or maybe the second half of para 1 will speak about 11. So it will all be in order. Skills tested. Obviously, it's going to test you on the detailed understanding of specific points. It could be a specific question or it could target the main idea of the text. Now, when you look at this, the first question 10, research completed in 82 found that in United States soil erosion. So what do I have to do in this? I'm going to go back to that specific part of the passage which spoke about the research which was completed in 1982. The clue is this number. When I go back and see this date, I know that, okay, fine, this is where the research was completed in the United States. Okay, and what was happening as far as the soil erosion was concerned? I'm going to quickly scan the options. Reduced productivity was almost as severe in India, was causing significant damage to 20%, or could be reduced by converting cultivated land. So I'm going to go back to that part which spoke about this detail, and I'm going to quickly read, make a window of 1 or 2 lines above, 1 or 2 lines below, and pull out the answer from there. Okay, so it could be directly targeting a specific point, or sometimes it could also ask you questions based on the main ideas or the main points of the text. Okay, next question type is identifying information. Okay, so this is your true, false, and not given type of question. In this question type, look at the directions. Do the following statements agree with the information given in reading passage 1? In boxes 1 to 7 on your answer sheet, you have to write. What do you have to write over here? Either true, false, or not given. Okay. Now it's very important for us to understand what you mean by these 3 statements. If something is given directly in the passage or paraphrased, with some synonyms, you have to choose true. If something is exactly opposite of what is given in the passage, you have to choose false. When you have no information about a particular aspect, that's where you choose NG, not given. There is no information about this particular sentence in the passage, so please choose NG. So if it's exactly the same thing, true. If it's exactly the opposite of what is given, false. If you cannot comment on it, there is no information given, please choose NG. Okay, so some quick pointers. It is important to understand the difference. Please look at the difference here. As I mentioned, it can neither be confirmed nor be contradicted by the information in the passage. Then you have to go for non-given. False simply means the opposite of the statement that is given in the question. Obviously, the skills tested will be more factual, based on facts. If you look at the data here, chronobiology is a study of how living things have evolved over time. If they have mentioned this clearly, this fact has been mentioned, you simply say true. If it's the opposite, let's say the passage said that chronobiology is a study of how living things have evolved, not over time, but evolved almost immediately, something like that. Exactly the opposite. So then you could have chosen false. If chronobiology, as the definition of chronobiology has not been given only, then how can I say whether it's true or false? Then I would choose not given. So basically, it's taking a fact and evaluating whether it is true or false or not given in the passage. The next question type is very similar to what we just saw. Only thing in this case, you have to say yes, no. What do you mean by yes and no? In this case, it's going to evaluate, unlike the previous one which was testing facts, here it is going to evaluate your ability to recognize opinions or ideas. Okay, so it's more often used in argumentative texts. The previous one, on the other hand, would be more like a science-based passage where everything is factual. Here it would be more opinionated. Look at the question. Do the following statements agree with the claims of the writer? Okay, whereas this one, do the following statements agree with the information given in reading passage 1? Passage 1, factual, so easier. Whereas this one, passage 3, opinionated, more difficult. Isn't it? I mean, factual passages are always easy, just picking up data and marking the answers. But opinions are always harder to judge. You can't really say what a person is, trying to say, what is a person's point, what is a person's viewpoint. It becomes difficult to evaluate that. That is why you may see this on the third section. The third passage. So in boxes 30 to 35 on your answer sheet, write. What do you have to write in those boxes? Only yes, no, or not given. Nothing else, no other words needed. So for example, helium chooses to be on its own. Helium is a very cold substance. The US Congress understood the possible consequences of the HP. Ability to decide opinions or ideas, and often used with argumentative texts. It's important to understand the difference here also about no and not given. So yes means that this statement agrees with the claims of the writer. Has the writer claimed that helium chooses to be on its own? If not, it will be option no. The answer would be no. If yes, the answer would be yes. If it has not been mentioned whether helium chooses to be on its own or not, if you cannot prove it and if you cannot disprove it, then the correct answer would be not given. Okay, a lot of practice goes behind answering questions on yes, no and true, false. So make sure you're practicing these questions well. This is just a definition. Like I said, no meaning it's contrasting or disagreeing with the author's viewpoint, and not given is something where you can neither agree nor disagree. You can't say anything about it. So in that case, you choose NG or not given. Matching information questions look like this. What do the directions say? Looking at the following events, questions 1 to 5, and the list of dates below. So list of dates have been given here. Also 1 to 5 have been given here. Write the correct letter A to F in boxes 1 to 5 on your answer sheet. So for the first one, vehicles with refrigerator were used to transport on the road. You have to write the correct date for this one. Okay, so your answer, write the correct letter A to F. Okay, this is what you have to write in the boxes. Okay, which boxes? Question numbers 1 to 5, there will be boxes given over here. You simply have to write those answers on your answer sheet. Okay, or in the computer screen, just fill up those boxes. So whichever date this has happened, basically you have to do that. Did you notice that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dates here, but only 5 questions here? So be very careful, it's tricky. You can't just match all 5 and be sure about it. You will need to find information in every paragraph or section of the text. That means nothing is in order. It is all scrambled up. Okay, there may be more than one piece of information that you need to locate in a given paragraph or section. Okay, so you may have to keep moving up and down to figure out the answers to this one. Maybe one is given somewhere else, maybe two is given somewhere else. It is not in order. right? It is concerned with specific information rather than with the main idea. Obviously, you're looking for specific things happening on specific dates, ability to scan for specific information. This is what they are testing here. Be very careful. All the options may not be utilized. One of the options is going to be left out. Matching headings. Students have a lot of problems with matching headings. I would say it's a little difficult because we're targeting the main idea of a particular paragraph. Okay, so sample passage 6 has 6 sections A to F. Choose the correct headings for sections A to D and F from the list of headings given below. Write the correct number. So what do you have to write? You have to write the Roman numerals in boxes next to 1 to 5. This is just an example which is given. But what do you have to write in front of 1 to 5? You have to write Roman numerals. What do you mean by sections? Sections are basically the paragraphs of the passage which are given. So you have to read section A and decide what is the main idea of section A, which is paragraph, let's call it paragraph 1. Okay, so the first paragraph you have to read the whole thing. If you feel the paragraph was talking about farming and soil erosion, please mark Roman number 3 in front of section A, just like they've done it here. Okay, so you have to mark 3 over here in the box in the computer screen, or write 3 on the answer sheet in the reading section answer sheet of the paper pen test. So basically, what are you doing here again? For 5 paragraphs, you are looking for 5 headings. Okay, which 5 headings out of 9? Again, there are more options and less questions. A heading will refer to the main idea of the paragraph or section of the text. How do you get the main idea? You may have a question. How do we find out the main idea? By focusing on the first line and the last line, because these usually sum up the importance of this paragraph. So focus more on the first line and the last line. That should be good enough for you to mark out the correct answer. Test takers must match the heading to the correct paragraphs or sections which are marked alphabetically. These are A, B, C, D, E, F. It's marked alphabetically. Test takers write the appropriate Roman numerals in front of these paragraph numbers. There will always be more headings than there are paragraphs or sections. Okay, so there will always be 9 headings for 5 paragraphs. Okay, some headings will not be used. What are your skills tested? I think mostly it is identifying the main idea and distinguishing the main idea from supporting points. It's not important to focus on the supporting ideas. It's more important to focus on the main topic. What is this paragraph's main topic? What is it really talking about? Focus on that and you won't make a mistake here. I hope you guys are taking screenshots because this is like a one-stop presentation. You don't need to do anything else separately later on. Matching features. So what happens sometimes in matching features is, look at this. Look at the following items, question 7 to 10. So there are some items given here. And the list of groups below. So there are some list of, there's a group given over here. First invented or used by. Okay, so A, B, C, D. They've given the name. So always study the data. The Chinese, the Indians, the British, the Arabs, the Americans. First invented or used by. So that means these items must have been first invented or used by these countries, the people of these countries. Right? So what do you have to do in this case? Match the features. So match each item with the group with which first invented or used them. So black powder, for instance, was used by maybe the Chinese, maybe the Indians, maybe both. Okay, so write the correct letter A or A to E in boxes 7 to 10 on your answer sheet. So in front of them, you'll be having the boxes on the computer, for example. So you have to write the correct alphabets. You may use any letter more than once. So you may use A and B both for 7. If, for example, black powder was invented or used by both the Chinese and the Indians together at the same time. So you may want to write A and B both in front of 7. Okay, so you can actually use this multiple amount of times. So how do I know that? It's very important to read the directions. If you don't read the directions, you just mark black powder A and you'll get it wrong. 0 marks, there is no partial credit. You'll not get half the mark. It's either 0 or 1. The options are a group of features from the text and are identified by letters. That is here. These are your options basically. It is possible that some options will not be used. That is also possible that some options will not be used. Maybe all this was done only by A and B and C, D and E are of no use to you. It all depends upon the passage given. And that others may be used more than once. So it's possible that A and B may be used repetitively throughout from 7 to 10. Maybe the rocket launcher was used by all 5. You'll have to write A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so you have to really read the passage, decide, and then put in the alphabets only. Write the correct letter. Always focus on this. Letter meaning only the alphabets have to be written, nothing else. Don't go ahead and write the Chinese in your writing sheet, especially in the paper pen test. What are the skills tested? Again, ability to recognize relationships and connections between facts, and their ability to recognize opinions and theories. Who was doing what? Which theory was stated by whom? Okay, so here maybe 7 to 10 would have been a list of different theories, and here maybe you would have had names of researchers. You had to match which theory was said by which researcher, for example. Okay, so you could get anything to match. This is just one example that I've given you out here. Okay, some list is given, and you have to figure out who was doing that particular thing. Next one is matching sentence endings. So as the name suggests and the direction read, complete each sentence with the correct ending. Always read the instructions. The sentences are given here 1 to 4. You have to put the correct ending. If you notice, none of these sentences are complete ideas. The ancient species of crocodile ate marine creatures that what? What should come next? The skeleton is kept in dash. Now what? What can the skeleton be kept in? What can be your answer? You have to write the correct letter, that is between A to G. In boxes 1 to 4 that are provided, for example, in the computer, 1 to 4 will have boxes here. You simply have to write the correct letter. So what are you writing? Are you writing the whole sentence? No, only the alphabet. It's going to be very fast. Okay. So for example, you can also use grammatical skills here. The skeleton is kept in. Can my answer start with A? The skeleton is kept in, is believed to have lived. It's not grammatically correct. I can't say kept in is believed. Right? So eliminate A. The skeleton is kept in shows some unique features. Not possible. The skeleton is kept in resemble dolphins. Not possible. The skeleton is kept in was laid down. Not possible. The skeleton is kept in a museum. Possible. Check in the passage. Is it possible? Yes. Please mark it as an answer. E. Can I also keep F? The skeleton is kept in. Do I need to look for F over here? Here they have not asked you. In the previous exercise, they had clearly said you may use any letter more than once. Here, are you asked to use a letter more than once? No. So don't use it more than once. Avoid putting two answers, two alphabets. You can just use one. And here, even without the passage, we already guessed that the answer should have been E, right? It could have been in the University of Edinburgh School of Geosciences as well. But I think it sounds more like a museum in the town near where it was found. But still, you should go back to the passage. We don't have the passage here, so let's not guess. But yeah, it could have been either E or G, one of them, and you could have marked it. So some pointers here, they will have more options to choose from than there are questions. So as usual, 4 questions, but so many options. No need to repeat unless required. If they mention that some of the options can be repeated, then it's okay. Then you can have multiple answers. But in this case, it's not mentioned, so only one alphabet. You have to write the letter. Okay. Skills tested, ability to understand the main ideas. Again, here you will have to understand the main idea or what this particular detail is talking about. Okay, going ahead to sentence completion. In sentence completion, again, directions say complete the sentences below. Choose no more than 2 words. Here the instructions say no more than 2 words from the text for each answer. From the text, meaning from the passage, choose no more than 2 words. So either you can choose 1 word or 2 words. No numbers, no more than 2 words. Write your answers in boxes 38 to 40 on your answer sheet. So on your answer sheet, you may have to write 1 or 2 words. So Von Frisch discovered the difference between dance types by changing the position of the whatever it could have been. Okay, the dance outside the hive points in the direction of the, again, some direction or something they're talking about. The angle of the dance from the vertical shows the angle of the food from the, again, some angle has been mentioned here. So look out for these points in the passage and try and pull out the answers from there. Everything would be given in the passage. The instructions make a big difference out here. Okay, how do the instructions make a big difference? You have to focus on the number of words that you need to use. What are they testing here? Your ability to locate specific or detailed information. Go back to the passage and see where they're talking about Von Frisch. Check where they're talking about the difference between the dance types by changing the position of what. Okay, dance outside the hive points. Go back and check the angle of the dance. Go back and check where they're talking about the angle of the dance. So this is how you have to locate the specific information, read around that part, and then choose your answers in 1 or 2 words. So here what do you do? As you can see, they've given you a heading, flight attendants of Kiwi Air, recruitment and training process. So candidates go online to complete their, complete their registration process or form. Again, no more than 2 words. It's clearly given here. Okay, so registration process or form or something like that. Admission form. Suitable candidates are then invited to come to a meeting or a place where you can have an interview. So, a Skype call or a video interview, something like that. After having, remember, it has to be only 2 words or 1 word. And then so on. So based on whatever is given in the passage, simply pull out the information and write it down. Nothing else is required. Given information may be a lot of connected sentences of text referred to as a summary. This is not a summary, this is a flowchart. There could be notes, there could be a table with some of its cells empty or partially empty, so like a table completion. It could be a flowchart like the one that's here on the screen, right? You may either be asked to select words from the text or select words from a list of answers. So sometimes they give you the answer options also. You just have to drag this and put it over there if you're on the computer. If you're not on the computer, then obviously you'll have to write down the word that you're picking up from the list. But sometimes they don't give you any list. They'll straight away ask you to match it from the passage directly. Their words have to be selected from the passage. The instructions will make it very clear. Like in this case, there was no list. So they've told you that use only 2 words for this particular exercise. Again, it's mostly targeting how good you have with details as well as the overall idea of what is being said in the passage. So this is an example of a table completion. Remember on the previous slide we spoke of it could also be a table. So this is more like a table completion. Directions mention it, complete the table below. This one is more like a summary completion. Okay, complete the summary using the list. Here the summary is there and here they've given you a list of words. So here it becomes a little easier for you. You can just match the words, you can just put the words here. But the problem again is there are more options than there are questions. So you have to be careful. Your understanding of the passage, the main idea and where the detail is, you'll again have to go back, check it and then just drag it and drop it here if you're on the computer. Otherwise, of course, you'll have to write the answers in the answer sheet. This is what a note completion looks like. Write only 1 word. In this case, there's no list given. So write only 1 word. So based on whatever is given in the passage, it shut down in 1972 due to low funds or something like that. You can write down low popularity, whatever it may be. Okay, and you can just fill that word in here. Only 1 word is required. Moving on to the next type, which is diagram label completion. Okay, so let's see what this question looks like. Everything's here. You just have to use the data from the text and put it in. Label the tunnels on the diagram below using words from the box. So the box is given out here. Okay, approximate depth in the centimeters below the surface has been mentioned here. There are only 3 blanks that you need to fill. Okay, and there is some information given. So this is what you need to enter. Okay, looking at the passage, of course, you need to pull out the information and put it down here. So the instructions will make it clear how many words, but if there is a list, obviously that won't help. The diagram may be of some type of machine or of parts of a building or any other element that can be represented pictorially. So not necessarily it has to be something like the cow pad dung or something like that. It could be from anywhere. It could be like a diagram with a machine or remember yesterday we did a writing essay on brick manufacturing. So it could be anything. Okay, and you just have to label the diagrams. Skills tested would be ability to understand the detailed description that is given in the passage and representing that in a diagrammatic form. That means if something is given in the passage, based on the passage, you need to understand what the diagram of that process would look like, or what it's trying to describe, what the description of it would look like, which part is where, okay, which area is where, which species is where, and things like that. Short answer questions, so no more than 3 words and or a number because you have to put a short answer. What time does the farm park open? So here you can put a number as well. We saw this yesterday too. So if you want to write a number and some words, you can write, maybe you can write 9 a.m. would be 1 word. If you want to write 9 a.m. in the morning, okay, then it would become 9 a.m. in the morning. That would be 1 word. In the morning would be 3 words, 1 number and 3 words. So that would be allowed, that would be accepted. So 9 a.m. in the morning. Even though it sounds redundant, but if it is required, you can of course pick it up and put it down as 3 words and or a number. Okay, which 2 attractions are the most popular? Order is not important as long as you write down the 2 attractions. So again, you have to go back to the passage and look for these details. What time does the farm park open? Go back and check. Which 2 attractions are the most popular with visitors? Go back and check. Which 2 improvements are planned for the venue next season? Go back and check. It's simply like just pulling out the information from the passage. You can put in words or numbers for short answer questions. Instructions will make it very easy what you have to do. Ability to locate and understand precise information because you're specifically talking about the time, specifically about the attractions, specifically about the improvements for the next season. So all this information will be very easy to pick up from the passage. Do not spend too much time on one question. If you cannot get it, just move on. Later in the 60 minutes, if time is left, you can come back. You can always come back. There is no problem. You can move back and forth within a particular section. If you've been thinking about the same question for more than a minute, just guess, mark it for review and move on. If you mark it for review, what happens is, later on when you click on the review button, it will show you which questions are left. You can go back and check. Like I said, you can return to it at the end if there is time. But don't spend too much time initially because then you're killing the other questions, right? You're wasting time and not getting a chance to look at the others.